Russia launches a massive airstrike on Ukraine, fellas, and 1.7 million people are without power this morning in Ukraine. This is crazy. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. It's always great to talk to you, fellas. I love you. You know, I know you don't love me, but you know, you don't give me choice. I have to love you so we can love each other. And trust me, I know a lot of you love me, so I appreciate you. It's a beautiful day. It feels good. It's good. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. Here we talk about many things. We talk about Africa, you know, in general, talk about issues in our continent, talk about various countries. We talk about South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, you name it. We talk about Jamaica as well. We've spoken about Jamaica a couple of times. We speak about the Caribbeans, you know. I know a lot of Americans are here, a lot of the Caribbean are here. Want to know about what's happening in the mainland? You're at the right place. If you watch this video by the end, we certainly gonna like each other. Now, today we're talking about something very interesting. We're talking about Russia. Yes, Russia and Ukraine. Why is this important? This is very important because this is where the political issues are being decided for you. Yes, it's decided over there. Now, if you think you just need to focus on what's happening in Kisumu or in KwaZulu or in wherever, in Aba states, trust me, the world out there will decide for you. So, why are we doing this? We're doing this because, we could watch CNN or we could watch the other channel. The bottom line is we need to do this because they have their narrative, right? And the Russians have their narrative. Now, who's telling the truth? We don't know. Now, how do we know the truth? We know the truth when we stand in the middle. We hear them and we pull our own conclusion. That's what we're here for. Russia has struck Ukraine again with a barrage of missiles. We're going to check why they've done this. And they've destroyed the energy infrastructure. Now, right now, fellas, Ukrainians are in the dark. 1.75 million people are shivering right now. You know, it's cold out there. I know. There's load shedding in Ukraine, not only in Africa.
So many victims, so many houses ruined. People have nowhere to live, nowhere to sleep. It's cold.
So why has Russia done this? Russia want to destroy the energy infrastructure so they can be in the cold. Because, you know, clearly when you shivering in the cold and you're hungry and you cannot heat up the room, you are very much distraught. You cannot fight a fight. Okay, so let's find out what's happening really in Russia. The Ukrainian energy minister said measures will be taken to minimize the impact of the strike and pledged to release more details on the damage caused as soon as the security situation allows. Russia has struck Ukraine because Ukraine attacked them. How did Ukraine attack? Ukraine attacked an airfield in southern Russia with a long-range missile supplied by the United States on Wednesday morning. The Russians promised they're going to retaliate in an appropriate measure. So, we know Russia and Ukraine are going through things for quite some time. And we know that the Americans, the British, and the other people gave Ukraine weapons, long-range missiles. These missiles would allow Ukraine to strike from Ukraine to Russia and destroy key infrastructure. However, for the longest time since the war started, the West refused to allow Ukraine to strike inside Russia. Why? Because Vladimir Putin made it very clear. If you strike my infrastructure using long-range missiles supplied by America and any other person, we're going to hit you with the nuclear power. And now, who want to be hit with nuclear power? Nobody. Do you know what nuclear bomb is? This is a nuclear bomb. That's nuclear power for you. Now, keep in mind, happened in 1945. That's a long time ago. So, as you can imagine, today, the power is even more brutal. And nobody wants this. Now, the West was feeling some type of way. They were like, okay, we don't want to poke the bear that much. You don't want Putin to be that angry to a point where he's going to sacrifice everybody by throwing a nuclear bomb. Now, Joe Biden went to elections. Just before he leaves office, because he lost, Kamala lost, he felt the need of allowing Ukrainians to strike inside Russia. I mean, even though many months ago he refused to do it. They refused to do it. The Germans did not do it. The British didn't do it. The French did not allow it. But just after Joe Biden or Kamala Harris lost elections, then Biden administration said, now you can use the long-range missile to hit inside Russia. After Ukraine used that missile to hit inside Russia, everybody was watching. They were waiting for the reaction of Vladimir Putin. Now, why were they waiting for the reaction of Putin? Because Putin has put red lines before, saying, if you cross this line, I'm going to destroy you.
If someone interprets our good intentions as indifference or weakness and is willing to cross a red line, they should know that Russia's response will be asymmetric, fast, and tough. I hope that no one will think of crossing a red line with Russia. For every single case, we will determine where that red line is.
And at numerous occasions, they've crossed the line. He has not destroyed the way he promised. And many people question how serious Putin was. Is he really serious when he threatens? Now, I would say, why would you want to test this guy if he's really going to throw a nuclear bomb? Guys say, I'm going to throw a nuclear bomb. You poking him enough to see if he's going to throw a nuclear bomb? And if he doesn't do it, you say he's stupid? Who's stupid? No. You are poking the guy. Who said if you poke me, I'm going to throw a nuclear bomb? Now, because he doesn't throw the nuclear bomb, you say he's stupid. Are you really looking to see him throw a nuclear bomb? I mean, of course. These people are players, these politicians. They have bunkers in Switzerland, bunkers in France. There's like 400 remaining. They have bunkers. They're going to go hide. It's the normal people that are going to suffer the consequences. If ever a nuclear war started, the Ukrainians hit Russian airfields lately using 6 tactical missiles from America in southern Rostov region. 2 of the missiles were shot down by a combat crew of Pantsir air defense system. So Russians shot 2 of the 6 missile shots. But obviously, the 4 others reached their destination. Now, that's the reason why the Russians have launched a massive airstrike, firing 95 cruise missiles and ballistic missiles and nearly 200 drones. So they shot a lot of missiles and drones. Why did they shoot missiles and drones? Because the goal is to overwhelm the defense system of Ukrainians. The Ukrainians got advanced defense system from America and other people. And the best way to overwhelm it is when you shoot many things at the same time. And that is what the Russians have done. And they have targeted key infrastructure such as energy infrastructure. The Ukrainians are in the dark. Zelensky said Russia is terrorizing millions of people and has renewed his call for international unity against Russia's President Vladimir Putin. He says a strong response from the world is needed. A massive strike, a massive response. This is the only way to end terrorism. Now, I don't know why you need to... I don't know if this is a very good idea. I mean, the guy's got a button where you can shoot hundreds of nuclear bombs. Why would you want to test him to that level? I don't know. Donald Trump is very upset that Ukraine is shot into Russia. This is what he said. It's crazy what's happening. It's crazy. I disagree very vehemently with sending missiles hundreds of miles into Russia. Why are they doing this? We are only escalating this war and making it worse. It shouldn't have been allowed. This was the reaction of Trump. So let me just remind you here that Donald Trump is really much against this war. His goal is to end the war as soon as he possibly can. And the Kremlin has agreed with the reaction of Donald Trump, saying that these people are poking the bear and this is not necessary. Now, let me put it this way for you, okay? There's a lot of damage happening. Let's talk about the damage. How much damage has been done in Ukraine with this strike? Ukraine's largest private energy company, DTK, say that the attack severely damaged equipment at a thermal power plant. And they've said that they will take measures to minimize the impact of the strike. Take measures to minimize. So probably they're going to bring in systems, alternative ways of energy. It's interesting. I mean, these Europeans have fast forward. If you break one energy thing, they can bring alternatives. It's amazing. When is Africa going to catch up? When is Africa going to catch up? And this is very sad because These people want to fight a fight that nobody asked for. Let me give you very quick context so we can close down this story. Okay. Now, many years ago, the West came to Russia. At the time, it was the Soviet Union, saying, listen, Berlin, you see Berlin? This is Berlin on the map. Berlin was cut into two. One side was with the Europeans and the other side was the Soviet Union. The Eastern Berlin was communist. Now, they said to the Russians, if you allow that Berlin becomes one in a whole, we are not going to move NATO 1 inch to the right.
We told the Russians in 1991 and 1992 repeatedly and in writing, although not in a signed treaty, that if they removed 400 troops from Germany and allowed Germany to reunite under NATO, that we would not move NATO 1 inch to the east.
Now, many years later, very slowly but surely, they started taking countries. Romania or whatever, all these other countries became part of NATO. Now, Russia said, we were not okay with you on this, okay? You are coming way too close to us. Why is this a danger? It is a danger because if a NATO missile is situated very close to Russia, they can hit Russia very, very quickly, very fast, no problem. So it's a security hazard for them. But you had an agreement. Many years later, they tried to get even Ukraine into NATO, and that is why the Russians are not happy. In the beginning of the war, we need to talk about this, Russian troops were right inside Kiev. But then they had an agreement, a very quick agreement between Putin and Zelensky. They had signed a pre-agreement saying, okay, we're going to stop whatever we're doing. Let Ukraine not be part of NATO. Now, however, something happened. Boris Johnson left England and came to Ukraine to have a discussion with Zelensky. In that discussion, he asked him not to give up the war. He said to them, you need to continue fighting. We're going to supply you with weapons and everything you need. And that is how the war started. Does Ukraine has the right to defend itself? Absolutely. Sovereignty is very important. Do you think the Russians are right? Or do you think the Ukrainians are right? Or do you think maybe the Europeans and America are trying to play a higher game where they're going to be the sole winners? God bless.